Hello everyone. It's about 4:30 on Monday. I just didn't feel like doing any videos up until now. Pretty much out of it for the first 72 hours. That anesthesia really kicked my butt that first 48, and then it took me another 24 to get my wits about me. I have been doing written stuff on the blog and putting up pictures, of course. But as far as getting back to this video stuff, other than when I did that drain tube stuff, that's about all I could do. And I had to do that, sitting down. I won't say that anything that I just went through was by any means easy. It was pretty rough. I don't think, with my knees and stuff, my pain tolerance is pretty high, so, I was able to put up with quite a bit, and I think my wife will be the first to say that I didn't complain a whole lot. Just kind of bit the bullet and rode through it, but, from the minute I woke up in the recovery room, you could tell right away that there was going to be some pain to deal with. And I had the tap block, and they got me, with the drugs that they had me on then. It was pretty manageable, but it was really rough waking up. The surgery went off without a hitch. The doctor actually told my wife that everything went perfect. He could not have asked for a better surgery. He said that everything from the anesthesia all the way through to doing the tap block, the whole entire procedure just went like clockwork. He actually finished up. I haven't got the actual operative report yet, but he said that, or by what we've calculated, and what anesthesiologist Bill said, that he came in a half an hour under his 6 hours. So it was a 5.5 hour surgery. I haven't, like I said, seen the actual bill from the surgical center, which I'm assuming I'll see that this week. I should get a little money back because you pay for blocks of hours and then each 15 minutes over. So I should see a little bit back there. But yeah, they got me back into recovery around, I think my wife said 1:20. Told her I'd be an hour before that they come back, and it had been an hour and a half, and they still hadn't heard anything. So she went and asked the nurse, and they said that they was having a heck of a time waking me up. But I told them that going in. Every time anybody's put me under for my knee cleanouts, had appendicitis, any of that, the one thing that's always been said in recovery, that I'm really stubborn about waking up from the anesthesia. So being that this was almost a 6 hour under, all my other surgeries were an hour or less. I think maybe the appendicitis way back in '89 was a little bit over that because they had to do exploratory and clean all that stuff out. But I was pretty much uncooperative on waking up, and we didn't leave the surgical center until it was close to a little after 4 before we got out of there and heading back to the hotel. That whole process, I remember, in and out. I actually don't remember going to the hotel. My stepson and my wife drove me there. Of course, my stepson, had to help me in and out, and they did that with a wheelchair. But the next thing that I remember was waking up in the hotel room around, I'm guessing it was 10 o'clock, and I of course had to get up and use the restroom. So that was eventful going to those restroom breaks, because I felt like I had to go, but I didn't really have to. But I'd get up, go over there, and stand by the toilet, and it was just like, okay, well, back to the chair, and then 20-30 minutes later, I was like, okay, this time I really do have to. So this process went on all night long, but finally I did. A little TMI, just one, not two. That didn't happen for a few days. They have you start on stool samplers the next day or softeners to free things up. But that was about 3 days removed from when I had my last meal the night before, which was kind of ironic because I've had people ask me that, what did you eat going in? Did you have to do a liquid diet? Did you have to do this, the day before? And no. They pretty much wanted me to do a low-fat meal up until 7 o'clock the night before surgery. And so on our way out of town, we had a house sitter come to stay with the dogs, and when he got here, we took off and hit KFC up because we didn't want to go in and eat. I wanted to get to the hotel and get settled in, so we ended up at KFC, and I got 3 of the grilled chicken breasts and ate them with a Diet Pepsi on the way down. And I didn't have any more than that, but ate 3 chicken breasts, so that was pretty good. But then coming on the other side of this, no, there hasn't been any limitations on what I've been allowed to eat. So I pretty much went back to my regular diet, just less of, because I'm not able to work out now. So I'm not, I don't need all those extra calories for my exercising. So just, kind of watching how much I intake. But other than that, one thing that you do not want to do is cough or sneeze. Fortunately, I've been very fortunate that I haven't had that problem. I've had a couple, for the first 48 hours I had to clear my throat, which I had stuff coming up, and I don't know if that was from the tube in and stuff, the intubation part of it. Maybe something was coming up with that, but I had to work that stuff up the first 48 hours. And there was a couple times that I got it up and I thought, oh God, I'm going to go into a coughing fit, but it didn't happen. So just put that stuff up and carried on. And I'm not a big sneezy kind of guy, so for me, fortunately, that hasn't been an issue. And when I do feel something like that on, I get over and grab the Kleenexes and blow my nose, get whatever's in there out, because I don't want to take that chance. The abdominal repair is probably right now the worst of the pain that I'm having. If you've been on my blog, he cinched in my abdominal by a little over 6 inches, so pretty extensive repair job on that. So very, very sore in the abs, getting in and out of the chair. I've learned now, but the first couple days was pretty rough because you just don't know how to grab and position yourself. Somewhere along the lines, I pulled the muscle in my groin on my inner thigh, and that's making turning. I got to make sure I'm in a straight line, because if I pivot and I pull that, it will put me down. So watching how I'm walking around the house and stuff is ginger at best. They want you up walking, of course, for blood clots and stuff like that in the legs. So about every hour on the hour since I got home, that's what I do all night long. The first 3 nights I didn't sleep. I think 2 hours a night was about the most that I slept in any stretch. And most of the time it was just 15-minute power naps and then back awake. But every hour I would get up and just walk to the kitchen and back and then sit down. It's physically all I could do. Those first 72 hours, that completely, totally tapped every bit of energy that I had. And I just made it back to the chair, and that was it. And I would zonk out for a 10 or 15-minute nap, and then I would wake up and start that whole process over again. The last couple days I've been up the majority of the day. Yesterday I was probably up. I probably only slept 2 or 3 times all day yesterday. This morning I was pretty tired, so I have slept quite a bit up until noon, and now I've been up for the last 4 or 5 hours. My wife had to go back to work today, so I've been on my own. I got my own crew babysitting me. You can see them over there on the couch. They're not helping out too much, but other than keeping me company, but that's pretty much all they do anyway. So just been, that's my spot on the couch. I can't get into the chair that I'm sitting on right now is my preferred chair. It's my big man's chair. But I cannot physically sit in this chair. It's too big for me to get back in and out of. And, excuse me. So I have to just stay on that couch recliner, which the first couple days it wasn't bad. And then all of a sudden it started hurting that pinched nerve in my neck and my shoulder. That third night, it was excruciating. And I didn't know what I was going to do because I just couldn't stand that thing. So about 4 in the morning, I transferred over into this chair, and that was the night before last, and I was able to stay in this chair. I had to help getting in and out of it, but it got to be too uncomfortable sitting over here, so I went back over to that, and actually it's been pretty good the last couple days. I don't know what it was about the switch back over, but I didn't do anything different other than put that Browns blanket on there. So that part of it seems to be pretty good. I would prefer my bed. I'm looking forward to getting into my bed, but I'm still afraid to be laying flat and then trying to get up out of bed. My wife, I don't want to put that on her to try to get me up because I would need somebody really strong beside me to take the weight so that I didn't have to pull. So for right now, I'm just going to continue to do the recliner in another 3 or 4 days. It's not that bad. I can manage it. And like I said, I'm getting a little bit more sleep over there now. My drains are still putting out. decent amount. I've got 2 of them that are down under 20. Actually, one only had like a teaspoon in it this morning from an overnight. And once they go under 20 for 2 consecutive days, I can get them pulled. So the hope is that by Wednesday, we'll see how they go the rest of today and tomorrow, but by Wednesday, I'm hoping to be able to go down and get 2 of them taken out. I have one, I think I posted that in one of my blogs, the A one is still putting out quite a bit. It's up over 40. It's been the main one. It was over 60s for consecutive drains in a row, but it's down to 40s. I think it was 35 this morning, so it's heading in the right direction. But those changes are pretty regular, every 8 to 10 hours. I think the longest stretch we went was, we had a 15-hour stretch that she went before she changed them. But that, you just do it by the cumulative for the total for the 24 hours. So we just got to keep an eye on it and let them know when it's time. Yesterday I was going stir crazy. It's one of the worst parts about this whole thing is being cooped up. I'm just not used to it anymore, so it's a eye opener to have to go through this. But I know, I got to mind my P's and Q's and do things the right way. But was talking to my nurse, my physician or surgeon's assistant, and she told me yesterday, if I want to get out of the house, get out of the house. She said, just you know well enough what you can and cannot do, and don't overdo it. She said, just be prepared that your drains will probably put out a little bit more. Once you're up and about. So I went ahead and I said, let's get out of here and go to Walmart. So we did. We headed over to Walmart. I walked in from the handicap spots, but I got in one of the motorized carts then. And I did pretty good the first probably 10 or 15 minutes, but then the sitting in the position that I'm in right now, after about 10 minutes, it really starts to hurt. It's the weirdest thing when you're up walking around, and especially, like I said, sitting and putting this pressure. I don't know any other way to say it, but it feels like you're going to bust a gut. Like everything's just going to rip out and stuff's going to start falling on the floor. It's the weirdest sensation. Kind of getting a little bit used to it today when I've been up walking around, because they do want you to get up a little bit more each day, and it will help with the healing. So, after about 15 minutes in there, my wife was seeing me. I was starting to get a little pale looking, and I just was uncomfortable. So, we wrapped it up. We just didn't need, we didn't get a whole lot, just milking a few odds and ends. Our normal night at the groceries on Wednesday, so we just needed some stuff to get us through the weekend. So, went in there, it was nice when I got back to the car because I could stretch out, and then by the time I got home and got in the house and got in my recliner, I was good to go. The drains last night didn't put out any more than where we have been, so no harm, no foul. But then, like I said, she left for work today, so I haven't done anything. I did walk outside once today. I was outside yesterday for just a short 50 feet walk, and I did the same thing today. Took my phone with me in case something happened, but I've only got a step in and out of the one door, so it's not that hard to get in and out of the house. A little rough coming in that day that we came up from the hospital, but not that big of a deal right now. Other than that, trying to rest as much as possible and do my little bit of walking when I need to, and try to make this drain date. I'd like to be down there and get 2 of them out by Wednesday, which would be the 1.5 week mark. It's hard to believe that I'm sitting at the 1 week mark right now. You really can't see a whole lot right now because a couple of days ago I finally got cleared to take all the gauze out of the binder, which was absolutely irritating as all get out. I was itching like crazy, and it would just get bunched up, and it was constantly straightening it out. So I got a hold of Bobby, and Bobby said, yeah, you lose it and just put a t-shirt on and pull the t-shirt under the binder. That'll be enough to protect the wounds as long as they're not seeping. If there was any ones that were seeping, I needed to get them covered up. But I don't have anything seeping right now, so that's a plus. Everything's healing nicely. If you looked at the drop-down thing on my blog, you've seen those pictures from a few days ago from the front side. I had to do that laying down on the recliner, but the back looks pretty much like the front, so as far as the incision. But I gotta stand up for a second because this is starting to hurt. But the one worst part is they say you're the hunchback of Notre Dame, because with the ab repair you're constantly just wanting to stay hunched over because you don't want to get upright. I can get pretty much upright, but it takes me a minute or two to get this adjusted and just get to where it feels halfway comfortable. This is the binder that they got me in. It's actually a new one. When they changed my dressings out before they let me leave town, we went from a long, elongated one to just a wide, shorter one, because that one that they had put me in out of surgery just was driving me absolutely nuts. But this is what your drains hang off of. It's I'm gonna go too low here, but it goes right here. My incisions are right, right above that, and then my drains are on safety pins, and I just hang. There's 4 of them. I think I showed you they're marked A, B, C, and D. And like I said, the A one's the worst one. It fills up the most. This right side's a lot more than this. I don't know if that means that these 2 are on the back, these are on the front, but they're separated. These 2 go in here, these 2 go in here. I think you can see that from the picture. So I have no idea yet where they're at, and I didn't email the doctor back to ask him either. But so yeah, these my wife gets home in about 20 minutes, and she'll drain these then, and then they'll be needed to be drained before I go to bed tonight. But the binder is uncomfortable. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It does serve its purpose. It keeps everything tight, and which feels really good. When you start to let this pressure off of that, then the swelling comes. So it kind of keeps the swelling down. So it's a lot better since I put the T-shirt underneath of there. Like I said, with the gauze and stuff that was in there, it just was not comfortable. I have yet to see anything. You can't see much with the way this is, but I have yet to see anything other than the pictures that you've seen. But my pants definitely do not fit good, and once the swelling goes down and stuff, that's definitely going to be the first top of the list. Is I'm going to have to be buying some shorts, or they're going to be falling down. Other than that, like I said, I'm just moving slow. It takes me a while to get in and out of chairs and sitting down and stuff. You would think that the incision site would hurt more, but it's the abs, definitely the ab part that hurts the most. The incision part is a lot different kind of pain. It actually is, because they cut through the skin, the nerve endings were cut. So all those in that incision, those nerve endings are trying to regenerate and reestablish so that numbness goes away and all that. So that part of it, I get, and it didn't start here until just yesterday, but I get really sharp pains at that incision line. It's sporadic. It one left side up front, one in the back side. You know what I'm saying? They just jump around. So those are kind of irritating, especially when you're trying to sleep. Even laying still, that doesn't stop them from firing. So it'll wake you up really fast. But like I said, it's just started up here yesterday, so I'm hoping over the next few days I just get used to it. Just like I've gotten used to getting in and out of the chair and stuff. My wife had to get me out of the chair up until, I'd say yesterday morning I started getting myself out of the chair, figuring out how to do it. She would have to push the back of the recliner up, come push the footstool down, the whole process. But I figured out how to manipulate it. The hardest part is getting it from recline to sit up without pulling on the stitches. If I can make it that far, which, if it takes me 5-10 minutes, it takes me 5 or 10 minutes. But I just, I manage. The foot part doesn't bother me at all getting out of that. But so right now that's where everything stands. This is day 7 actually, 4:43. I would be, just arriving at the hotel a week ago, post-op. It's hard to believe that it's, this week's went that fast. But I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'll, do another video maybe after, the first drains are out. Maybe after Wednesday, and see how I've progressed from there. I'm off of Percocet. I made the decision. I ran out yesterday morning. I had Vicodin left over from my knee scrape outs earlier in the spring, so they asked me if I wanted a prescription for Vicodin, because they couldn't. You have to physically deliver the Percocet prescription to the pharmacy, and I would have to drive to Columbus and get it and all that, and that just wasn't a possibility yesterday. So they asked if I wanted some Vicodin called in, they could e-script that, and I was like, well, I still got a bottle of that in the thing, so they said, well, try that. So last night at supper, I took 2, and then every 6 hours I've been taking 2, and I was going to get back on the Percocet today, but I'm not now. The Vicodin's keeping this at bay. enough that I think I can manage it with that. So they script me a prescription for the Vicodin over to the pharmacy, and I'll continue to take that until I can get back on my NSAIDs, which are for my knees. Once I can get back on those act as blood thinners, so I can't take them right now, probably for another 5 or 6 days. And I'll probably just stay on the Vicodin for a week and, push it a little bit past that before I switch back onto them. So, like I said, I'll catch you guys up Wednesday or Thursday. And I put a 3-part reflection up on my blog. I've got 2 parts up. I'll get this up maybe after the 3rd part goes up tonight. So, thank you for following me.